Hello, my name is Emily Zipprich, and this is my CAP discussion video on the article by J.J. Hoover entitled Special Education Eligibility Decision-Making in Response to Intervention Models. According to the Council for Exceptional Children, RTI is designed to identify struggling learners early, provide interventions, and to help identify children with disabilities. Later in the article, it states that at the same time, RTI has been shown to reduce the number of special education referrals. Children who are struggling can get help immediately under the RTI method rather than the previously followed model of wait and fail. After students receive Tier 1 and Tier 2 interventions, students still showing signs of struggle and lack of progress should be considered for Tier 3 interventions. The data collected will be looked at later on by staff members at the pre-referral stage and will be used as documentation to determine what a student is going to need to be successful. RTI looks more at achievement results and rates of progress, and it reduces the influence of the IQ test. It uses a universal screener to target students who are struggling and to get them immediate help, and it is constantly monitoring them for progress. Some of the challenges that may be faced when using the RTI model in general, and then in regards to special education, are that teachers and paraprofessionals need to be properly trained in the RTI process in using progress monitoring tools and implementation of interventions. They need to be able to determine what interventions will work, and they also need to be able to identify when special education is needed and where the line is between what are considered RTI interventions and what needs to be moved on to the special education referral. Other challenges that could be faced are the use or access to evidence-based instruction. Recently, a lot of school districts don't have a whole lot of money, so being able to buy programs to use for progress monitoring, using professional development time, paying for trainings, all of those things affect RTI, and if RTI and special education are tied together, then that's going to hurt the students who are going to need those services and those interventions. They're not going to be getting what they need, and so schools may just jump immediately to giving students special education services, identifying them, when in some cases they may have only needed RTI interventions, and now they have an IEP that is hard to get rid of. And finally, a challenge that could be faced when talking about RTI and special education is the lack of support systems needed to address all the learners and all learning styles. If general education and special education teachers don't, again, have the training that they need and don't work together to get the best options for their students, then the students who need the help and the interventions and who are struggling will continue to struggle because the teachers do not know how to move on to get those students the help. And finally, in the article, it talks about that research still needs to be conducted on RTI data, progress monitoring tools, and other things to show how RTI and special education are really linked up. Currently, RTI does not diagnose, rule out, or identify a disability. It just offers ways to help students that are struggling. So if the student does not respond to Tier 1 or Tier 2 interventions, then moving on and going to Tier 3 is going to be needed, but RTI cannot diagnose a disability at this time. Also, more research is needed in the area of clarification for the area of RTI development and implementation, by using and implementing RTI more with students who are struggling, by researching the methods and models more extensively, and defining how RTI can help struggling learners, the role of RTI in the special education process will be better known and determined, and students who do need the Tier 3 interventions and the special education help will get that, and students who could benefit from just Tier 1 or Tier 2 can get those help and avoid the special education label.